Hi folks, this is the Google Workspace onboarding form. The purpose of this form is for you guys to provide us with the details that we need in order to set up your account correctly. And there are a few little terms in this form that you may not be familiar with. So the purpose of this video is to basically run you through some of those just so you have an understanding of what that means and to show you a practical example of a couple of things here as well. This video isn't so much about selling you on Google Workspace. If you've got this far, you already know the benefits. If you are unsure of some of the benefits, then by all means you can let us know. However, there are many benefits, and if I'm completely honest with you, this program is one of two programs that I recommend that every business that we work with adopts. Google Workspace being one, and the other one being Xero accounting bookkeeping software, or if you're not located in Australia, perhaps something like Intuit QuickBooks or something like that. Anyway, so I'm just going to run you through some of the fields in this form. By the time you're watching this, perhaps some of these fields might have changed a little bit. However, all the fundamental ones are going to be here. There are some examples here, so it should be relatively straightforward, but you shouldn't go too far astray. So obviously company name. So I would always put that as your primary company. So for us, as an example, it's Tradie Web Guys. And then I'll get a little bit more into aliases in a second, and just put down there your domain. So tradiewebguys.com.au. If the form doesn't accept that, you may need to enter the HTTPS. You may need to enter this part. Sometimes those fields can be a little bit temperamental. So an alias URLs for your Google Workspace account. Now, an alias is essentially a domain, or in this instance, an email account that you would like to send and receive email from. So our primary email account is tradiewebguys.com.au. One of our alias emails is the site shed. So we can send and receive from both of them within the same inbox, and that doesn't cost us any extra. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I jump here into my Google inbox, if I click on compose, you'll see over here there's my primary email, and then there's a drop down of all these different emails that I can send and receive from. However, this is still one account. So I don't pay any extra for this. I just pay for the one account, the $180 a year or whatever it is. And I can send and receive from all of those. And then our team members also have their own account. So they get their own $180 a year account or whatever it is. And they can send and receive from that email and then any aliases that they want. So this might be more relevant to you guys that, for example, you might want to have on your website an info@yourdomain.com.au, or you may want to have an accounts email, so you're sending out invoices and things like that. You can do all of that as an alias and you don't have to pay for it. Of course, if you have an accounts person within your organization, then you're going to want to give them that email address, which would be a separate account. Okay. So hopefully that clears that up. So here's your company name. Here's your domain name. Here's any aliases that you would like. If we have your domain registrar logins, so for example, if you're a web client of ours, we will have this. If you're not yet a web client of ours, then we may not have these details which we need. If you're unsure, just put them in there because it will just make things easier. So if we have them, you can tick yes. If you're unsure or we don't have them, tick no, and you'll see it will open up another bunch of fields here. So you can enter who the domain is registered with. Crazy Domains is an example. Perhaps it's with GoDaddy. It could be TPP Wholesale. It could be a number of different providers. We just need to know who that is, and then we need the login details so that we can get in there. This is the master company email. So this is typically going to be the boss's email. So as an example, Matt at tradiewebguys.com.au, whatever. So you put that in there. That's the primary email, and then any any alias emails that you want to have that are tied to that. So if it's an accounts at, info, about, whatever it might be, you can put them in there. And it can be, as you see here in this example, there's some examples there of a different domain. So up here where you would have added your alias URL, you can also add an email tied to that alias right here, okay? So here, this is important, and please, if you read through these notes here, you'll see how I've mapped this out and laid this out for you. First, this is basically all of the accounts that you currently have within your company. So we need to make sure that obviously we're bringing those accounts across, or if we don't have those accounts, that's fine as well, but we need to create them for you. So as you can see here, this is an example. Here is the account name. And then underneath here, I've got 1, 2, 3 aliases set up as examples, okay? So just do that for each team member. So if you've got 3 or 4 team members, just have the master account with a dash next to it, and then any alias, just put 2 dashes next to it so we can see underneath that they're an alias of that account, okay? If you would like emails that you currently have migrated into Google Workspace, that can be done as well. There may be fees associated with this depending on how big, how large that email account is. I would encourage you guys, if you are doing that, to go through and cleanse your email account and get rid of, some of the spammy emails and things like that. That would make it a lot easier for us to do the migration. It will end up costing you less. So some of the costs that are associated with that are largely to do with, downloading, uploading, basically labor-related fees. So less is better for you guys. Anyway, that pretty much summarizes this at the moment. As I say, there perhaps might be a few extra fields by the time you read this form, depending on what we decide to add into it down the track. However, that basically gives you a pretty good overview of the main things, which are, of course, what your domain is, your alias domains and how that works, and then very importantly, making sure that we have access to your domain registrar. Again, if you are unsure if we do have it, don't fear, just click no and add them in there again. It's better to be safe than sorry in that regard. All right, guys. Well, that's all from me. Welcome aboard. Congratulations on making this decision. You won't regret it. And we look forward to working with you.